So, if you're a man who was raised without your father, or you grew up under the influence of a lot of women, chances are you have some gaps in your masculinity that are preventing you from living as a fully actualized man. Yep, I said it. I should note here before you try to come for me that I am the product of a single parent home. I grew up in the ghetto, raised by my mom without my father, with my 3 other brothers. So I'm telling you lessons that my manhood has taught me and not some shit that I made up. So miss me in these comments. Gaps in your manhood mean you have a tendency to show up as immature, childish, or obstinate, especially when it comes time to obey someone else's authority. You can't stand being told what to do. And the reason for that is simple. You're still trapped in your boyhood. Maybe your mother indulged you too much, or taught you inadvertently that manhood is defined by dominance. So you never learned that there is safety and protection under trustworthy leadership. And as a result, you're probably not as good a leader as you think you are. And not that great at following either. You see anyone who questions you as a threat, and anyone who instructs you as a dictatorial asshole. But truthfully, you're the problem. A fully developed man isn't threatened by submission. He doesn't have to lead or control or flex his knowledge or be superior in any respect. He can follow the direction of virtually anyone, people who are less knowledgeable or less capable than he is. He can follow men he doesn't even respect. He can even take direction from a child because his internal sense of his manhood is not determined by whether or not he is dominant. A fully realized man defines his manhood by an inner core of trust and belief in himself. Outward conditions become irrelevant because he knows that if he is called upon to step up, he can do so, not because he needs to assert dominance, but because the people around him need his wisdom and guidance. He is so sure of his own ability to take care of things that he can relax and let others drive, because when shit gets real, he is already ready for it. But shit doesn't get real all the time, and he recognizes that everything doesn't require his input. So he chooses when to lead and when to follow. He carries the understanding that his submission makes it possible for other men to develop confidence and reach their full potential. One of the greatest builders of self-confidence is when a man who could lead you chooses willingly to follow you. The affirmation of his trust in you speaks volumes and causes you to rise to the occasion. If you're unfamiliar with experiences like this, it's probably because you are still in your boyhood and haven't yet learned how to release your will while still holding on to your masculine presence. For you, they are one and the same, but in truth, this is not the case. So how do you eliminate gaps in your manhood if you have them? Well, you have to separate the idea of dominance from masculinity. And the only way to really do that is to practice vulnerability. To practice vulnerability means to stop controlling everything, let someone else drive, and do it with an open mind and an attitude of acceptance for whatever happens. Practice expressing your feelings, especially ones that are uncomfortable for you. Operating in these spaces expands the definition of what masculinity will look like to you. So here's some questions to ask yourself about your character as a man, and be honest about the answers. How are you with power?
You don't have to ask me, and I don't take no orders from no woman, by the way. I don't take no orders from no women.
Can you obey others without complaint or resistance? Can you obey another's will without feeling inferior? Do you demand that others follow you without question?
Let me tell you, the one that matters is me. I'm the only one that matters.
Are you self-centered? Does your life revolve around something other than you?
I'm smarter than they are. I'm richer than they are.
What does your social media look like? Is every post on your page a picture of you or a video of you?
I had 14 great birthdays without him. He never even sent me a damn card. To hell with him!
Do you see vulnerability as weakness?
How come you don't want me, man?
Is it easy for you to admit when you're wrong? Do you apologize? When others talk, are you actually listening, or are you just waiting for them to finish so you can say the next thing you've been planning to say? Do you practice selflessness? Can you put the needs of others above your own? Do people describe you as kind, tender, or supportive? Do you need to be right more than you need peace and agreement? Do you regularly practice the surrender of your will to others, especially people who would normally submit to you? Your answers should tell you whether or not you're still in your boyhood, and if they don't, your life certainly will. Look at your relationships and connections. What do you like at work? Who are you in a relationship? Who are you developing or nurturing outside of your family, outside of your circle? So that's all for this video. In the comments, let me know what you thought. Did this video challenge you? Did you recognize yourself in some of the things you were hearing? What are you going to do with this information? Where do you go from here? Thanks so much for watching. Bye.